Okay, but can I say we need to get a disclaimer whenever we play RFK that this station is not.
We are not endorsing him for president.
I am most definitely not endorsing him for president.
Not for somebody who's in. Listen, he may not be endorsing what's going on in Israel.
Yes, he
but
is.
Silence speaks volumes.
What silence? He said Palestinians
said that the Palestinian people are privileged people. I didn't say.
I
know it's effed up.
I can't. So that's why it bothers me that we're giving him play. He wants to talk about it. I feel like
how can he get this so correct and get what's going on in Gaza so wrong? Don't know, but that's why I think there's more to it than meets the eye. So here we go.
It's a war that should have never happened. It's a war that Russians tried repeatedly to settle on terms that were very, very beneficial to Ukraine and us. The major thing they wanted was for us to keep NATO out of the Ukraine. The big military contractors want to add new countries.
This is who runs the country and who runs the world. And so if anybody disputes this fact, you don't know what you're talking about and you're completely lost. The major four companies that you see here on this list right here, these may be combined the four biggest financial contributors to our Congresswoman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah.
This is who gives her money. This is who gives a lot of these representatives money. Now, she, of course, takes that kind of money hand over fist, but a lot of others are willing to take a little sprinkle here and there just to remind everyone who the big players really are. So when everyone is out there concerned about, oh, my God, we can't have Trump. Oh, my God, we can't have RFK. Oh, my God, we can't have Biden. This is who's in charge. This is who calls the shots. Now, you could say that the billionaire class makes sure that these organizations get their money. Yes, they do. But they ultimately dictate policy. And for anybody who thinks that
it's them, it's a lot of the big organizations. It's whether it's the Israel lobby, the military industrial complex, big pharma, big agra, Wall Street. There's definitely a group, but obviously.
RFK twinge in your voice right there.
I'm having a little frog.
Yeah.
Frog.
Would you like me to patch on the back?
I'd rather you not.
All right, let's keep going.
To NATO all the time. Why? Because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Lockheed, get a trapped market. In March of 2022, we committed $113 billion. Just to give you an example, we could have built a home for almost every homeless person in this country. We then committed another $24 billion.
This is problematic to me.
So he's, of course, not talking about MMT.
He's giving the either or narrative, the pie narrative. He is explaining this from the perspective of making people fear. It's an austerity mindset, and that is problematic. Whenever people are talking about it from that perspective, I find that perpetuating a mythology that keeps us trapped. And, that really bothers me. That's a huge thing too. Actually, that's one of the main things. And I agree with Grumbine on this. If somebody is not right on this, then it really doesn't matter how they are in anything else. Because if you're still seeing it like a pie, you're not coming at this from the right perspective.
Even if you're not lying deliberately, it's still bad form.
You should know better. If I know better, you should. Let me tell you, when it comes to numbers and math and economics, I don't even understand the game spread. And it's been explained to me so many times, just don't. And it's I will never understand those things. But if I can understand this main issue, then he should this is somebody who's extremely bright that really needs to know this stuff. And when you start playing that, what it does is it plays into the fear mind of who you're trying to convince.
And Bobby, think about how many libertarians you could turn if you were actually honest about how economics really works. This whole idea of austerity politics is insane. You have a budget that needs to be balanced at the state and local level. At the federal level, it's different.
Stop saying it's either or. Stop saying that we are not averse to spending the money on wars because we would otherwise have that money for housing. That's not why I'm averse to it. A, we have the money and can have housing. And B, I'm averse to it because I'm averse to it. Those two things are completely unrelated. And when you tie things together, like general universal public services with or versus war, you're maintaining that mindset. So that pisses me off, actually.
Said 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for another 60 billion. But the big expenses are going to come after the war, when we have to rebuild all the things that we destroyed. Mitch McConnell was asked, can we really afford to spend 113 billion to Ukraine? He said, don't worry, it's not really going to Ukraine.
Right.
It's going to American defense manufacturers.
Okay, so this is said like it's a good thing.
Scheme.
He says that like that's a good thing.
I have said many times before that when I control the power of the purse, the people who get paid first are the people who pay me first. That's how one hand washes the other in Washington.
Metal, and here's the thing, Metal, this was actually, but the Tucker Carlson Putin interview is actually the first time that I ever heard Putin, that I ever listened to him give an interview, like really ever listened to him, like, give an interview. And if you're comparing how he comes off to making Biden look doddering, I actually think that Putin could win as a write-in candidate right now over Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's scary.
And how confident, because,
charismatic he is.
well, and the truth is, and Putin is not exactly a charisma, he's not exactly got it going on, but damn, he's competent. And he's not wrong. When he specifically asked him about the Nord Stream pipeline, that was amazing.
You may not have an answer, but your CIA doesn't.
That was great.
That took real balls.
It's balls because he knows the truth. And the thing is, when Putin made this point, which to me, of course, you guys know I'm like big on the whole concept of reason. And Putin makes this point of when you're looking at something like the Nord Stream pipeline, you have to look at who benefits from that and who can actually do that. And when you look at both those things, it's us. It's just common sense, right? So, yeah.
And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock. So Tim Scott, during the Republican debate, said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. So raise your hand if you think that loan's ever getting paid back. Yeah, of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because if they call it a loan, they can impose loan conditions. And what are the loan conditions that we impose on them? Number one, an extreme austerity program, so that if you're poor in Ukraine, you're going to be poor forever. Number two, most important, Ukraine has to put all of its government-owned assets up for sale to.
So how is it that you can say that what's happening in Ukraine is austerity, but you're not going to say it's austerity here in the United States? That to me it's almost like he knows the answer and he's pretending like he doesn't know the answer.
Well,
why does that rule only apply in Ukraine, but it doesn't apply in the United States?
Metal, I never really had any opinions about Putin. You've never heard me say crap about him. I don't know anything about him other than he's an oligarch and he's maybe a very powerful oligarch in Russia. I've never had any opinion about him one way or the other. I really haven't. Again, it's, one man's villain is another man's hero. I'm not getting into that. So I've never, I think he comes off way more competent than Joe.
Metal, do you think Biden or Trump is going to protect the Constitution better than somebody like RFK would?
None of them are. The truth is, Metal, nobody's protecting the Constitution. We lost 4, 5, and 6 in the Patriot Act, and both Democrats and Republicans keep doubling down on that.
And when we end the show, we'll show you one last clip after this. You'll understand why.
Multinational corporations, including all of its agricultural land, the biggest single asset in Europe, in Ukraine.
This is why I have said many a times before that the most dangerous oligarch on the planet is definitely Bill Gates. And the reason I say that is because Bill Gates has his hand in every corner of the war machine because he's obsessed with agricultural land. Like that is his thing.
Bill Gates?
Bill Gates.
Yeah, he wants to own the food supply. And Joe Anthony, I have read that. I'm not sure if that's something we've covered.
Yes, economic hitman. Yeah, John Perkins.
Yeah, we had him on. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I know I read the book. So yeah, we had him on the show. And yeah, Confessions of an Economic Hitman is actually really quite good.
Yeah, I agree. So that's.
And again, we are not simping for RFK in any way.
No, but you know what? When somebody says the right thing, you call it out, you acknowledge it. But when you say something wrong, like, how are we going to pay for this? We don't have the money.
Come on,
man.
I simply simp for Cornel West.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.